Hi grade 12s, welcome to a cost accounting video. Question 1.1 says choose an example from column B that matches a cost category in column A. Write only the letter A to E next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.4 in the answer book. For example, 1.1.5 F. So we have descriptions in column B and then terms in column A. I'm going to be reading them out and matching them with the terms in column A. Letter A, it says carriage on raw materials purchased. Remember now, carriage on raw materials purchased, it's the transportation of the direct material cost. Therefore, we need to add it there. So that will be 1.1.2. It will be A. B, it says salary of the factory foreman. The factory foreman works for the factory, that is labor. However, they are not directly involved in the manufacturing of the goods and service. Therefore, they are regarded as an indirect labor, and that forms part of the factory overhead cost. Therefore, it will be 1.1.4. Then we have the rent expense for the office building. Any cost related to office, we classify it as an administration cost. That is 1.1.1. 1.1.1, it will be C. And then D, we have workers in production. Those ones are directly involved in the production of the good or service. Therefore, it's a direct labor and we don't have the term there, so we are going to skip it. And then the last one, it says commission paid to sales staff. Anything related to sales, that is selling, we classify it under selling and distribution cost, which is 1.1.3 E. Then now that we are done, we are going to jump straight to question 1.2. In question 1.2, we have Wazer Stitches. So Wazer Stitches, owned by Anne Brown, manufactures bathroom towel sets and buys fabric from local suppliers. The information relates to the financial year ended 30 June 2022. Note that there were no work in progress stock balances. It is very important for you to note that there were no work in progress stock balances. I think this will be important for when you do the production cost statement, if they want the total cost of production, which they do there. You also need to note that if our financial year end is 30 June 2022, it means that the year started on the 1st of July 2021. It's very important for you to note this for your expenses. Then now, you are required on question 1.2.1 to calculate the following for the financial year ended 30 June 2022. The first one is the direct labor cost. According to the information A, we have direct labor cost. They are saying that six workers were employed in production in 2021 and 2022. So the number of workers is 6. Each of them worked 1,840 hours each, right? Normal time during the year at 40 rands per hour. That is the rate per hour. So for us to calculate normal time, we are going to say number of workers, which is 6, times the hours worked by each worker, which is 1840, and then the rate per hour, which is 40 rands, and then it's going to give us a total of 441,600 rands. And then after that, they also worked an overtime, so we're also going to have an overtime. They say that the overtime register reflected a combined, meaning it's for all 6 of them. Then there is no need for us to say times 6. Total of 230 hours worked at 1.6 times the normal time rate. So we are going to say 230 hours, it's combined, times 1.6. Because now the hours are combined, you don't say times 6, right? Sorry, you don't say 1,6. I mean, you say you're going to look for the normal time rate, which is 40 rands, and then you say times 1,6. So it's going to be 40 times 1,6. It's 64 rands. So you're going to say times 64 rands, which now gives us an overtime of 14,720. Then they also have a bonus of, they say the production staff received a production bonus of 8% of the normal time wages. Our normal time wages, it's how much? We calculated them as 441,600. Then 8% of that, it will be 35,328. Then for us to get how much is the direct labor cost, we are going to take the normal time wage of 441,600. Then we add with the overtime of 14,720, sorry, and then you also add 35,328. Then we are going to get a sum of 491,648 rands. Then we are done with the direct labor. Now let's move to the next question. We have to calculate the factory overhead cost. Now let's check information given to us. For the factory overhead cost, now they are saying that the bookkeeper calculated the factory overhead cost as 541,600. However, he made the following errors which must be adjusted. So that 541,600, you write it there as total before corrections. They wrote it down for you. Then the first adjustment under factory overhead, it says he included the entire insurance expense, meaning that he included the whole insurance expense, which is 100% of 32,400 to the factory overhead cost, instead of only 60% of this expense. So out of the 100% that he allocated to the factory, he was only supposed to put the 60% there, meaning that he added 40% extra. So we need to take out this 40% extra. How do we get this 40% extra? You can do it in two ways, right? The first method of doing it is you can just calculate. You can take the 32,500 because it is said to be 100%, right? And then you calculate 40% of it, which is going to give you 13,000 rands. So you can go to your insurance, open a bracket and say 32,500 times 40%, then it's going to give you 13,000 rands. You put it in brackets because we need to take it out. Or alternatively, you can say out of the 32,500 rands, you can say 32,000 32,500. Then you calculate 60% of it, which gives us how much? 19,500. So you're going to say that out of the 13,500, he was only supposed to allocate 19,500. So now you say that how much needs to go out. You can only calculate how much needs to go out by saying now 32,500 minus the 19,500, which is minus 19,500, it is also 13,000. So you can do it in both ways. Now let's move. They say that he allocated 54,000 to factory water and electricity using the ratio 3:2 for factory, sales and office respectively. So if it says respectively, it means that the first three, it's going to be for factory, and then the 2, it's going to be for sales, and the last 2, it's going to be for office, which is admin, right? meaning that this 54,000 that we are seeing, it's 3, right? And then in total we have, you are going to say 3 plus 2 plus 2, we have 5, 7. So it means that that 54,000 rands, it's a portion of 3 over 7. However, they say that this expense should have been split in the ratio 2:1:1 instead of 3:2:2. So now we don't know how much is the total what do you call it, water and electricity expense. So but they told us that that is 3 over 7, ne? For us to calculate the 100%, meaning the whole water and electricity expense, we are going to say what we are given is 54,000, but this is not 100%. We are looking for the total, and the total is 3 plus 2 plus 2, which is 7. We are looking for 7. We are given how much? We are only given the 3, because the 54,000 was allocated to the factory at 3. So you are going to divide by 3. Therefore, we're getting a total of 126,000 rands, right? So it means that this is the whole water and electricity. So now that we have the whole water and electricity, we need to reallocate it according to the new ratio or the correct ratio. So we can say 126,000 rands times now 2, because for factory it's 2, then 2 plus 1 plus 1, the new ratio split, it's 2, 3, 4, 4. So meaning that we have 2 divided by 4, we're supposed to have 63,000. So instead of 63,000, he allocated 54,000. So for you to know how you need to add, because it means that he put he added a smaller amount there. 54,000 is less than 63,000, so he needs to add the difference. So you can say 63,000 minus 54,000 rands. Then you get your difference. Then it means he was supposed to add back add an extra 9,000. And then now we are done. We can calculate the sum there, which I'm getting 537,600. So the next question is, you need to calculate the total cost of production. So the total cost of production is similar to you doing the production cost statement, right? And remember, they said there is no work in progress. So your total cost of production, remember, it will be, wait, let me scroll down. It will be your direct labor cost plus your direct material cost, which gives you a prime which gives you a prime cost, and then you add factory overhead cost, then it's going to give you the total cost of production, right? I tried abbreviating there. So our direct labor cost, we calculated it as 491,648. And then our direct material cost, let's check the info given to us. We have additional information. So our direct material on the 30th of June 2022, it's given there as 600, so we are going to say plus 652,800. Then it's going to give us a total of 1,144,448. And then after that, we add our factory overhead cost of how much? The total is 537,600 here, the previous question. And then now it's giving us a total cost of production of 1,682,048 rands. This is how much I got. Then now let's check the next question. It says that Annie is concerned that fixed cost increased to 806,400. They increased. Explain why she should not be concerned. Provide 2 points, code figures. Now, if you look at the total fixed cost there, they did increase from 792,750 in 2021 to 806,400 in 2022. Sorry. So why he shouldn't be concerned? Because the first thing that we would say is that the selling price also increased from 365 rands to 375 rands. So he shouldn't be concerned. Also, the number of units produced, they increased from 5,250 to 6,400. So he shouldn't really be concerned about that. So you should, that's how you quote it, because if the selling price per unit increased, then it means the sales also increased, right? Also, if the number of units produced and sold also increased, then it makes sense for the fixed cost to be higher. Remember, your fixed cost, you're talking about your water and electricity, your rent, your insurance, and all that, because it's factory overhead and administration. So it means that it was all for a good cause. Then now let's check the other question. It says, refer to information C. Comment on whether the production staff deserves the production bonus that they received. Provide 3 points with figures. Production staff. Okay, let's check. Information C would say yes, because the number of units produced increased. So still use that, because now the number of units produced and sold increased. And then also the break-even point, the business is selling way above the break-even point. It means they are making a profit, so they can give their employees a bonus or their workers a bonus. And another one, it will be that what is the other one? It could be also that the selling price increased. So they do deserve it. They do deserve it. And then now the last question, it says, Annie wants to improve her profit by 50,000 during the next financial year while maintaining costs. So since she wants to increase her profit by 50,000 with with cost remaining the same, how can she do this? So you can say that you're going to take the 50,000 rands. So you can say that for her to make a profit, then you're going to look at, for her to make a profit, remember her profit is made by saying selling price minus cost, right? And then we are going to say her selling price is 365 rands, and then her cost 126 and 244, right? So it means that she's making, for her to make a profit, it's 5 rands per unit. She makes a profit of 5 rands per unit. So if cost remains the same, then you can say for her to make 50,000 rands, you divide by 5 rands profit, right? So it means she has to make 10,000 more units. Then that's how she can get the 50,000 rands. So she needs to produce 10,000 more units. Wait, yes. So to write it down, we are going to say for her to make a profit, her profit is equals to her selling price minus her cost price, which is selling price is 375 and her cost price is 244 plus 126. You take your variable cost sorry, your variable cost, you add your fixed cost, which is going to give you 370. So it means she's making a profit of 5 rands, right, per item that she produces, per unit. So for her to make 50,000 rands, for her to make a profit of 50,000 rands, you divide by the 5 rands per unit. Then it means she needs to produce 10,000 more units. And that's all, guys. We have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for another topic.